You remember it clearly: the room, the people, where everyone was standing, maybe even what someone was wearing. You can see the scene in your head almost like a photograph, and you've probably never questioned it, because if you can remember something that clearly, it must have happened, right? Not necessarily. A false memory doesn't feel false. You don't experience it with a warning sign. It feels just like any other memory you trust. That's because your brain doesn't store your life like a video camera. Every time you remember something, your brain rebuilds it from fragments, emotions, details, and expectations. And sometimes it gets the reconstruction wrong. A camera records what happened and lets you replay it later. Your brain works differently. It constantly decides what matters, what can be ignored, and what probably happened. You don't remember every face, sound, or object from yesterday. Your brain compresses experience into patterns and meaning. Most of the time, that works incredibly well, but there is a catch. Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus spent decades studying that catch. In one famous experiment, people watched a car crash and were later asked how fast the cars were going when they hit each other. Another group heard the word smashed instead. The accident was identical. Only one word changed, yet their estimates of the crash changed too. But the strange part came afterward. Suggestions could influence what people remembered seeing. A detail that wasn't actually present could become part of the memory. You aren't necessarily lying when this happens. Your brain can incorporate new information into an old reconstruction. This is known as the misinformation effect. Sometimes one small suggestion is enough to change the story, and you don't even need another person to create a false memory. Imagine seeing the words bed, pillow, dream, blanket, rest, and tired. Your brain immediately recognizes the pattern. Now imagine being asked what words you remember. You might confidently remember sleep, even though it was never there. Your brain understood the pattern so well that it created the missing piece. That sounds like a flaw, but it's actually one of the reasons your brain is so useful. You constantly make predictions from incomplete information. You recognize a familiar face from only a few features. You understand a sentence before it ends. You know what a kitchen is for without analyzing every object inside it. Your brain is always filling gaps. Now think about your childhood. Maybe you remember your old house, a birthday, a family trip, or a classroom. You might remember where people stood or what someone was wearing, but how much of that memory came from the original event? Maybe photographs added details. Maybe your family retold the story. Maybe you imagined parts of it. Every time you remembered it, the memory could change. That's why remembering isn't like opening a file. It's more like opening a document, editing it, and saving it again without seeing the edits. This matters when people describe accidents or identify suspects. A witness can be completely sincere and still remember something inaccurately. They don't have to be lying. They may genuinely believe the reconstructed memory they're describing. It gets even stranger. Under some circumstances, people can develop memories around events that never happened. At first, they might say, "I don't remember that." But imagine the event, talk about it, add details, picture where you were and who was there. Eventually, the imagined event can start feeling familiar, and familiar can start feeling like remembered. Maybe you saw something in a movie. Maybe someone told you a story. Maybe you imagined it yourself. Years later, you might remember the detail perfectly while forgetting where it came from. Psychologists call this a source monitoring error. You remember the information, but misremember its origin. The story becomes familiar, and familiarity can slowly start feeling like personal experience. And here's where it becomes personal. Your present self can influence how you remember your past self. If you believe today that you were always terrible at school, your brain may bring forward the embarrassing moments and push successful ones into the background. Your memories begin supporting the story you currently believe about yourself. The past becomes evidence for your identity. So look at your own memories differently. Your childhood, your family, your friends, the moments you're proud of, and the moments you'd rather forget. Some memories may be extremely accurate. Others may contain small changes. Some details may exist because your brain found them believable enough to fit the story. Your past isn't necessarily fake, but your memory of it is a reconstruction. So maybe the strangest thing about memory isn't that your brain can lie to you. It's that your brain can create something that never happened and make you feel like you lived it. The next time you're absolutely certain about a memory, remember this: certainty isn't proof, it's a feeling. And once you understand that, you can look at your past with curiosity instead of fear.